YouTube, it's Brian Phillips. Look at this beauty. It is the S2 from Goosky or goo-sky or go-sky. I don't even know what it's called. But anyway, I believe people are calling it goo-sky. But we think it is fantastic. It is absolutely gorgeous. Easiest battery loading in RC history, which is really nice. Direct drive motors for both and super resilient, strong frame. And the best part of all is that it is Futaba s-fhss protocol, so I had to add something to it anyway. So we put on a serial receiver. Ours was kind of old. Stay tuned. We'll talk a little bit about that later on. We used what we had lying around, but you may have to buy one. Make sure you get the SRXL, the first version with 3 wires. If you want to plug in the DSMX, you may be able to plug in to the UART with SRXL2, which is going to be a 4-wire configuration. But I don't know that for a fact, and I haven't tried it, so don't hold me to it. We'll link to something similar to what we used. And if you decide you want to go for the newer version, that's fine. Go for it. All right, cool. Without further ado, she's kicked on. We have auto leveling turned on. Look how awesome this thing flies. Look at that, effortless, amazing. Okay, we're gonna get out of the sun here. We did our first flight in dark almost, and it was a really good flight still, but look how much better the visibility is, guys. And we were flying with a lot of friends today. There's tons and tons, stop moving, thank you. There's tons and tons of dragonflies out today. This is an auto leveling. It's just super, super easy to fly. I'm gonna go into idle up 1. You see the dragonfly next to me? Oh, that's so cool. Okay, so that's up, down, up, down, up. You see that guy? Oh, that is so cool. Okay, here's the idle up 2, stunt 2, even in auto leveling. Okay, we're gonna come out of that. And we're coming back into the auto leveling. Guys, I am not an expert heli pilot, and so anytime I can fly a helicopter that will keep up with my lack of skill, it makes me feel super fantastic. I just love the way this thing flies because it reminds me so much of its bigger competitive brothers, and yet it is all metal. Everything is just really nicely built, and it's just super, super rock solid. I mean, look at this thing. It just feels rock solid when you fly it. And I love that, and I love the colors, and I love the motor, and I love the performance. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna come back out of it. Now keep in mind, guys, I do pretty much loops in 3D performance levels, and that's about all I can do. And then I just scare my wife mostly, not on purpose. I scare myself also. But the truth is, I actually probably could do this just fine. It's just I'm kind of a chicken. And I know I'm gonna get there because I remember what it was like flying in safe and not in safe and that sort of thing. Okay, back to auto leveling. As you can see, it converts right out of it, and I have mine set to the gear switch, which really makes me feel nice and confident. I'm gonna go back to stunt 1, which is also known as idle up, just with, I think, a 65% throttle curve going down the runway here. Just cruising along, guys, just loving this heli. Obviously, small helicopters definitely do require a little bit better eyesight, so make sure. And listen how quiet it is too. We haven't talked about that. You can barely hear it. The only time you really hear it is when you're in like stunt mode 2 and you're really pulling off some crazy stuff. I love looking at it. It is a beautiful heli. I hope the camera crew is getting half of this.
I'm getting half of it.
All right, well, I mean, it's just small.
It is.
Look at all the bugs, guys. There's tons of dragonflies. Look at this little swarm over here. Let's go hang out with them. They're gonna be so into this helicopter. That's part of the reason why I wanted to film this right now. I didn't even mention that to you, camera crew, because I saw it outside. I'm like, oh man. I go out mowing about once or twice a year, and there's tons of them like this. And that's part of when you've got hay that you raise, they love living in the grass. And then when you finally do take down the grass, they get all pissed off and they all pop up at once. Guys, just love the way this thing looks. It's so greasy. And then let's show you a landing, okay? So again, not a super skilled heli pilot, and look at that. Absolutely no problems. Throttle cuts on. Amazing flight. I got a minute 16, a minute 15 left. We're gonna keep flying for just a second longer. I'm gonna show you how good that takeoff was. Okay, I'm in not idle up now. It's just normal mode, and we'll go ahead and take off. Let the tail come around a little bit, and there we go, in the air. Letting it spool up like normal. Just to show you some of the more coordinated turns. I wanna come fly over here for just a minute where we're kinda out of the sun here, camera crew, if that's all right.
Okay.
As you can see, oh man, it's crazy how much cooler it is over here. Just being out of the sun like that. Some of you guys have complained that everybody wants to do 3D flying with helis, and I totally agree. This is a beautiful helicopter. There's no reason you can't get this thing and just fly it around like this. I mean, it is probably gonna seem very lame to the creators, but that's fine because I'm not one of them. Okay, so now we're gonna go do some flips. See, that's why I'm just like, I get myself into these situations where I get so far ahead of myself that I freak out. And here's my timer. Trying to get that helicopter in a spot where you guys can see it really good. Okay, that's our timer. That's a 5-minute timer. And we pretty much used up our battery last time, so I'm gonna step in front of you there just for a second. So guys, we love this little thing. If it's goo-sky, if it's go-sky, or if it's go-sky, whatever it is, China, please come up with English words we can read. It's a little easier on us. I guess goo is technically a word. It's just a highly unusual name, if you ask me. And I mean, honestly, guys, look how stinking fantastic that thing looks. And I feel totally confident flying it here right next to us. I know some of you guys are gonna be a little bit cringeworthy seeing us so close to all these moving parts, and I agree. There is a certain level of inherent risk with this hobby, but let's be honest, guys, I haven't even crashed this one yet. So if it blows up in a million pieces, better me than you, right? So here we go. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take it over and just kind of give it a nice smooth landing, try to make it look somewhat pretty. If you're new to the hobby world, don't land on cracks. Cracks are a good way to tip your helicopter over and hit something on the ground while it's spooling up or down. Also wanted to point out right now while we're talking about it, during spool up and spool down, this thing did not get wonky, it did not tip over. That's a really nice feature. Now, I don't wanna say it's a feature. It shouldn't happen, but it happens on a lot of the other helicopters we have, even the good ones. So I must say, amazing. And we did point this out in the other video, but camera crew, if you would do me the favor of touching this, what would be 1,000,000-degree motor, hold your hand on there. It doesn't hurt?
No,
not even warm, right?
No.
How about this one?
No.
Yep.
Not even warm.
And let's check the battery. This is really the mark of a well-engineered aircraft, guys, right here. If this, and it's not like I was being super hard on it, to be honest.
And it's not like it's cold outside. That
No,
cool.
it's pretty hot.
Yep.
Okay. Guys, it's like lukewarm.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little bit warmer than ambient temperature, but it's not warm. And I mean, I'm telling you, every other helicopter I have, by the end of the flight, like even the good ones, even with good batteries, you're looking at a little bit of puffage, you're looking at heat. And heat kills batteries. So there you have it, guys. Goosky S2 with our old serial receiver installed so we can use our NX8. Amazing pairing. Yes, it sucked to find the instructions. If you're looking at a 30-page document, you're looking at the wrong one. You want the one that's gonna show this setup, or better yet, just watch our radio setup. It's such a simple setup that it's really not worth even looking it up, to be honest, because you could just pause the screen and look at my paper. But anyway, I love this thing. Great heli. Oh, one thing I didn't talk about, feel this. That's a one-piece landing gear. A lot of them are bolted on the side. Seems like a minor deal. And it probably is until you break it, then it'll be a pain, but it's smooth on the bottom. A lot of these helis have carbon fiber struts here, or whatever, these landing skids, and they cut into the table where we lay them, and it drives me crazy. So I love having them displayed like this, but then it's like cutting into the wood. So I don't know, stupid little detail, but I do care about those details. And otherwise, just rock solid performance. And guys, that's coming from somebody who is not an ultra skilled 3D heli pilot, and you know where my limits are. If you've watched this channel for more than 5 minutes, you're gonna watch the other videos that are right around mine if you're on Banggood, and you're gonna be like, man, that guy sucks. Yes, exactly, like I said. But the thing is, everybody has to start somewhere, and if you're sitting on your couch saying how bad I suck, which you'd be right, the thing is, you go out and do it, because this is totally something you can fly. Because if you have the right equipment, there's no reason you can't be flying something like this in short order. And I'm serious about that. You can do it. So do it. All right, guys, if you want to buy this thing, click the link in the video description below. You'll help support our channel with small commissions from the companies that we work with to distribute this product. And then also we have links to the transmitter and then something similar to what we put in there. And yes, please don't kill me. I know if you want to use the UART plug and it does accept the 4 from the SRLX2, that's fine. Leave that also in the comments below. I'll update my links to reflect those changes, and then you guys can buy from whatever you want. But at the end of the day, you'll be helping to support us financially if you buy those things from the links. You don't pay any extra. You can still use whatever coupon codes and bonus and cash back and all that stuff that you get on your credit cards. It doesn't change anything on your end. It just helps them to know that you came from our video. So at the end of the day, that's one thing you can do to help. Also, smash the like button. Don't forget to click the bell for notifications, because we are putting out so much content we can't hardly keep up. And that is true, right, camera crew?
That is true.
So please do click the bell. You'll know when stuff's coming out, and then you can help support us by watching the videos and smashing the next bell. All right, guys, come back for more. Oh, and then one more thing I forgot to mention. The camera crew reminded me after we stopped that for just a second. She said that you can get this as a ready to fly. I didn't find it myself, but if you want to get it as a ready to fly, you can get it. Whenever you follow links on Banggood Links, what you'll do is you follow the link, and then you can just change whatever finish level you want. So anyway, guys, I got ours with 2 batteries. I think you get them with 1 or 3. And then of course you can get them at different finish levels. And then sometimes you have to check which mode you want. Of course, in this case, this isn't a ready to fly. So you would be setting up whatever mode you want on your own transmitter. Or if you're using a Futaba transmitter, then you could use that. Now, also if you're using s-fhss, I believe there's also an S-bus input on here too. So you can do pretty much any brand of transmission protocol on this device. I don't even, if you're using s-fhss, I think you can do s-fhss anyway. If you're doing OpenTX, I know you can. So anyway, guys, whatever transmitter you're using, I love the NX8. You may hate the NX8. Either way, more power to you. We love it. It's going to work great. If you guys decide to go that route, you can just copy our setup. That's all we got for you. Stay tuned. So much more from Brian Phillips RC. Okay, so after the unbox build radio setup, we didn't have a chance to talk about this, but I made this little adapter, or we may have mentioned it briefly, but it's just 3 connectors in parallel that go to an EC3. And so I made that, and then I made this one. It's just a single EC3 connector that goes to an XT30. It's super easy to do that stuff. I highly recommend you do it. And the nice thing is, since this is a non-smart battery, you can actually go ahead and put these in, and they'll just be in parallel. So each of the red wires go together, each of the black wires go together, they come out and they connect to that. So you can actually hook these things up together and do a simultaneous charge if you want. You can do a parallel charge and it works just fine. So basically you would do it that way. And actually normally what I would do is I would put it onto a balance board like this, because then I can hook up the balance leads together. But it's really nice when you build stuff like this. Over time, you'll end up with all sorts of stupid connectors like this. And it just really makes life a lot easier, because when you get these random batteries from all these one-off helicopters that have different connectors and things like that, it's really nice to be able to use your high quality chargers instead of using what comes in the ready to fly. In our case, this wasn't a ready fly, it was like a bind and fly. But since it was actually geared for a Futaba s-fhss transmitter, of course, we had to add our Spectrum transmitter, which by the way, we do speak to that a little bit. We used one that we had lying around from years ago that we actually had used way back when in an Omp Hobby T720, and actually later we did the S722 and actually just livened that thing up right away. So we think we figured out a suitable replacement, because they actually went up to an SRXL2, which has 4 wires instead of 3. So we actually have links that will show you a couple of different choices for 3-wire. And if you decide to go with the SRXL2, then it's gonna have 4 wires, and you have to actually redo the connectors, and it might be a little bit much for some of you. For a lot of you, it's not gonna be a big deal, but I would just recommend check the links we have there. It's gonna help at least answer some of your questions. And just keep in mind, with serial receivers, we're looking for DSMX, and we're looking for a 3-pin. It's SLRX, not SLRX2, which goes up to 4 pins. So anyway, that's all. And hopefully that answers all your questions on this Heli. That's just that little side note at the end. If you want to help support us here on Brian Phillips RC, obviously this is an amazing helicopter. It's a super nice helicopter. It's just as nice as any of the other ones we have here, if not nicer, but it just happens to be a little bit smaller package. And I would like to see this in about double the size package because I would love to fly it. And just love that it stays cool when it's running. Love that it comes with good batteries that don't puff so far. I mean, granted, it is a heli. We've only flown it a few times. And even though it was annoying at first, I love that I'm using my NX8 because it really does help give me the capabilities to soften the sticks, to really get this thing to fly the way I'm comfortable. And that is invaluable to you if you're a newer pilot or an advancing lower intermediate helicopter pilot like me. So anyway, buy these things from the links in the video description below. That's how you can support our channel. And definitely this is a desirable heli. So hopefully you guys will get one. If you don't like this and you want something else we've done in the past, or any of the airplanes we've done, we've got tons of links down below, or you can visit us on brianphillipsrc.com and you can see links back to any of the videos before you would decide to purchase, or if you want to do side-by-side comparisons, we can help you with it there. And as always, we appreciate you. Definitely come back for more. There's so much coming on Brian Phillips RC. Thanks for watching.